Hey, boys and girls. I'm going to be reading from A Writer's Notebook, Ralph Fletcher's book about unlocking the writer within you. I feel like the purpose of this book is to explain to his audience how to become a writer, how to use a writer's notebook to be a better writer. The chapter we're going to read today is called Thoughts About Notebooks from Louise Borden, who's an author, and she lives with her family, and it also says she lives with lots of writer's notebooks. Oh, that was kind of funny. Okay, this is a quote that Ralph Fletcher, he probably interviewed Louise Borden and took this quote after they talked about what writing notebooks meant to her. She said, all of these are parts of working writer's notebooks. Photographs, quotes, the language of other writers, newspaper clippings, letters from research, personal letters, daily entries, struggling rough drafts. So I think that's interesting. In her writer's notebook, it's not just her words, it's other authors' words. I think that's interesting. Sometimes when you're a writer, you're paying attention to what other authors are writing. Here's the second part of the quote. Most of my notebooks are black and white composition books. I also have several larger notebooks, binders with pockets and various sections. I gathered all my journals and notebooks I've kept since 1984 and began reading through them. And this is what I discovered. And here she has a little list. She has a list of things. I tend to focus on the same subjects: family, writing, friendship, places, and reflections on school visits. So we've had a few authors come here and visit Coddington. She's an author that probably does the same thing. She'll go and read her books and talk about writing. I use the same voice in my reflective entries. There was a repetitiveness in my entries. So when she reads her own work, she sees that she's writing about these same topics over and over again. She's kind of repeating herself, and she writes in the same style. We call that an author's voice. I set goals in writing, small steps scattered throughout the notebooks. So as writers, we should be thinking about our goals. What do we want to accomplish as a writer? What story are we trying to tell? Family, writing, and friends seem to be at the heart of my personal and my professional life. So you don't have a profession yet, but your school life is kind of your professional life. And so a lot of things that you write about at school are probably things that are related to your everyday life. And last, she says, some of the writing seemed average, and some lines seemed powerful and full of heart. And I think that's probably the one that sticks with me the most. You can comment after the video in the comments about maybe what seemed powerful to you about these books that I've shared today. But she fully admits some of my work is just, it's okay. And then some of my work is really great. And I think that's a lesson that we all need to learn as writers, is that sometimes sometimes we just have to get something down on the page, and sometimes it won't be that good. But sometimes we're going to get something down on the page and we're going to really love it, and it's going to be powerful and full of emotion. All right, she ends up by saying, I write daily on white lined tablets, long letters to close friends, observations, thoughts about the schools I visit, and descriptions of places. It is a habit, this kind of writing, this trying to make order and sense of the subjects closest to me. When I write on these tablets, covering the smooth white page with ink and words, I am always surprised by what I learn. Each sentence opens a door that can make familiar thoughts new. This kind of writing never fails to lead me to new places. And so I think that's what we want to think about when we're writing is what can we learn about ourselves as writers by reading our own pieces, by writing a lot. I like how she describes it as a habit. It's something we should do every day. Just like we read every day, we should try to write something every day. Okay, in my next video, I'm going to explain the activity to you because I need to get to know you as writers and kind of what you think about yourself as a writer. And that will help guide my instruction as we go on through our lessons together. So you might want to think about what kind of writing do you usually do? How do you feel about writing? When and where do you write? And knowing about each other as writers and the reasons we write will help us grow as a writing community. And that's why on our Zooms, I want us to come together and share a little bit about what we're writing. And if you're stuck on writing, definitely come to the Zooms so you can hear what other writers are writing about. And we want to be a community that works together and does a lot of sharing after we write. All right, so I will introduce the activity and thank you for listening.